One of the most common descriptions of ineffective managers is that they forget where they come from. And especially with a mission as important as law enforcement, our identity is in what we do and the brothers and sisters we have that are our fellow police officers, deputies, troopers, etc. But the trouble is, as we become promoted, we sit in the office too much. We're not involved being out in the community watching the mission being accomplished. And in a way, we lose our identity. And everybody sees it but us, that we are no longer a cop, we're a captain or a major. And one of the things that I think the reason that many managers aren't seemingly very happy is because they're sucked into the politics within the agency and somebody's filed a grievance and on and on. And one of the neatest ways I ever heard to cure that forgetting where they came from was the story that I was told by a manager of a large agency, that a new police chief came in and had a meeting with all the command staff. And he said, I've got a directive that I'm going to put out for all of you in this room, and that is a command directive that you will show, I think it was 8 hours a month, that they had to be on the streets of this particular city, that they had to do it in uniform, they had to do it without sitting in an office somewhere playing video games. They had to be out on the streets of this particular large municipality, and that it had to be in uniform. And if you didn't have a uniform because you've been in detectives and investigations for 12 years, it didn't matter. You better go get yourself a uniform. And no compromise. It was going to be a requirement to be a member of the command staff. And after the chief walked out, there was as he described, this manager who's telling me the story said there was a pitchforks and torches moment. Everybody was it was almost in a riotous behavior. Why does he think he has the right to tell us to do this? He's not from here. He doesn't know how busy we are, and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, they had to realize this was not a suggestion, this was an order. So begrudgingly, not wanting to do it, they went and for those that need a uniform and stuff, and they began to schedule time so that they could document 8 hours out on the streets of this major urban area. And they complained the entire month. But the guy sharing this story said it was amazing what happened in the first meeting after this had been going on for a month. That the conversations, for the first time that he could remember, were about what they learned in those 8 hours, and comments about, I had no idea we had this many homeless people in this city. I had no idea the drugs were this bad in this city. To see people laying on the sidewalk passed out, and on and on and on. But what was really a highlight of a lot of the comments were remarks that we have such amazing cops here that put up with all this stuff and do their job. And he said you could see on all of these people's faces who hadn't been out on the street in 10 years or 15 years, their appreciation about their brothers and sisters in uniform, that they had forgotten, and they had forgotten the mission, but now they got a glimpse of how important it is and how dedicated the vast majority of young men and women who work there. And he said that it was, in a way, an attitude adjustment that they didn't want to do, but after they did it, they were so appreciative of their role in the law enforcement profession again. And it was for their benefit. and that their attitude about their job became more positive because they went back to the mission and their brothers and sisters. We've got to commit or make other people make us committed to go back out and spend time every week with the men and women who do the job. And I know for the smaller agencies that may not be as hard, but all agencies should, every manager should have a commitment for their own emotional health to go back out on the streets or in the jail and remind themselves about the importance of this mission, the amazing quality of the men and women that we have doing this, and the appreciation for being part of this mission. Thanks for joining us on the They to We Leadership podcast. If today's episode helped you think differently about management, take a moment to reflect and then apply it. Because real leadership isn't what you say, it's what you do next. And the real enemy is our pride and blindness on how we are really doing. Only with the help of others can we truly make an impact on those around us.